Hey, this is Seth with In Demand Career. I show people how to get life-changing jobs in digital marketing with no previous experience or education. And that includes my very special guest today, Eric, who was working for Amazon in a warehouse and doing delivery jobs when he found my course. And then once he took the course, he is now making 50K a year remotely doing paid media, Facebook, Google, Bing ads. Everything has completely changed for him. I'm very happy for him, and I'm excited to share his story with you. Thanks for being here, Eric.
Hey Seth, it's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
My pleasure. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about your current job that you're doing right now?
So right now, my title is paid media specialist. I do the day-to-day to different on different accounts. I'm on 5 accounts right now. For the most part, I work in Google Ads, but I do touch Facebook, Bing, Amazon too. You know, for the most part, I do budget tracking. That's one big thing. And there's a whole lot that we can get through if we have the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I know we love to get into the details and geek out on it. Most people watching, some people are in the course right now, a lot of people aren't, so they may not know the terminology
Definitely.
yet, but it's good to give people a sense of like what you're doing and about and how you told me this, but about how much budget are you responsible for?
So I manage a range from one of our clients spends around 700K a month in ad spend, um, and another client spends 3K a month in ad spend. So a wide range.
That's a pretty big range,
Mhm.
guys. 3,000 to 700,000. Now, and is this your first job?
Yes, this is my first digital marketing job.
That's pretty amazing, guys, to think, and we'll get into how he got here and how he comfortably, manages this kind of responsibility. But to be handed that kind of an ad spend in a first job is really remarkable. But that's what happens in this field. So, of course, everyone wants to know how did you get from where you were to where you are now? And you were telling me that, like, when you found the course, you were working at Amazon, you said?
Yep, I was slaving away, as we like to say at Amazon. Really just didn't like it. I wanted to find something for myself, and I stumbled upon this course. I was slacking at first, which is entirely on me. But once I got serious, in December 2020, a lot of things started happening for me. I took the entire course. I went through all the steps. I did all the homework, and started looking for jobs in around, I believe, June. Um, and it took me up until June. From June to October is when I was doing interviews looking for jobs, and October is when I landed the job.
That's great, man. That is, you guys don't understand. I mean, we've seen a lot of these interviews. It's such a short, and again, I don't want to put pressure on people. It's not, it's not a 2 week thing. It can take as long as it takes for you to go through the course and then the application process. It sounds to me like you were telling me you were trying to balance the course along with the job, which I think a lot of people can identify with. Everybody's got to put food on the table. So you were like, just to help explain to people why it took you from, say, around December till June to finish the course, you were what were you doing for a job while you were working on the course?
So I was doing delivery with DoorDash, Uber Eats. It took me that long to get from when I started the course to get a job is because of the balancing that I had to do in my own life. But I will say, having gone through it, I that long it definitely shouldn't take that long. Knowing how much demand there is in this field. Um,
I think what I like to say to my current students or people signing up is that, like, I know, I've had a chance to interact with a lot of people, and I think what you're saying is right on. Life comes up. I have people who've had, whether it's a health issue or something in your family, or something at work, you can't focus completely. But what I will speak to now is the fact that, again, you don't have to become a genius expert in digital marketing to get a job like this. This is his first job, and he's managing this much ad spend. So my question is, like, once you did finish all the homework assignments and you did the work of the course, like, what was the application process like? Like, were you getting interviews? You said you interviewed for like 3 months. Like, were people responding to your resume?
Definitely, a lot of great things they had to say about, the homework I was able to put in when I was able to. And I was, on average, I would say I was interviewing about 3 times a week.
3 times a week, did you say? I couldn't hear you.
Yes, yes.
That's fantastic. And so, what was the interview process like for you? Because again, you're coming from a background, and there's the other question I meant to throw in there. Do you have a college degree?
I do not have a college degree.
Okay, so you're getting interviews. You do not have a college degree, and your background is in working at Amazon. So how was it like? What was it like for you in these interviews?
As long as I was staying confident in the work that I did, building my own website, running ads to it, everyone I interviewed with were very happy to hear that I was taking initiative. Um, you know, and that made, having me taken the initiative and done my own work, all these interviews, they were very impressed, and what I had to offer them.
Guys, remember that whether you haven't taken the course, you're in it. It's not everything I'm saying is still true. You don't have, again, they didn't say to you, hey, did anyone ask you, hey, have you managed $500,000 before? Did that come up a lot?
No, they did not.
Right. They were impressed with the fact that you took the initiative to do the assignments in the course. I'm telling you, it's still like that out there, guys. I know some of you guys maybe still hesitant. I get messages from people sometimes, and they're like, well, I don't have enough experience. And I remind you guys that my first digital marketing job, when I was, handed $100,000 a month in ad spend, I had never done anything. I had no clients. I had only run ads to my own site. Same with Cayenne, same with a lot of other people. So I hope this is encouraging. So you went through that process. And all the other question, the fact you don't have a college degree, obviously you got interviews. Did anybody bring up the college degree? Was that ever a point of a problem?
Nope. No one ever bring up anything about a college degree.
You said it very straightforward, guys.
Yep.
People, they needed someone who knew what they were talking about, right?
Definitely. As long as you're speaking the language and you know what you're talking about, even if it was a wrong strategy in their eyes, at least you're speaking to it and you sound knowledgeable and confident in what you did. That's what they want to hear and see.
That's an interesting point, guys, because again, I always say perfectionism equals poverty. So were you ever in an interview where they asked you kind of your opinion on something and it wasn't quite what they would do, but they were still, did that happen to you, or are you just speaking kind of theoretically?
That did happen to me once. This was it was one of the nerve-wracking interviews where they were asking me super technical, what were my strategies? Have you tried this? What would you do if X and X happen? And I just gave my little knowledge opinions about it, and they were impressed.
That's awesome, man. And what was for like a paid search job, a Google? What was, do you remember the question at all?
It was if one of your accounts is decreasing in conversions and the other one is rising greatly, what would you do?
Right.
I'm sorry, but I forgot my answer at the time. But they were just, they told me at the interview, we were just really impressed that you were able to answer it at all.
Guys, this is perfect, especially, and if you're in the course, review the new interview video that I uploaded. I put so much effort into that, and it's based on a lot of conversations with students and mock interviews. And what do I do in the video is I show you how to put together your answers ahead of time. You're not going to anticipate every single answer, but the fact that you have an answer to a question is often the most important thing, even if it's not right. They want to see your thinking process and they want to see that you're confident. That's it. Like that's the main thing. They know there's not enough people out there that have the skill set. So they're not going to be like, well, you answered this, you had this 90, you got a 95% correct response, but I'm sorry, you didn't get 5% of it. So we're not going to hire you. Or we're not going to be interested in you. And the important thing is, you guys, even if you don't get hired at these agencies, you're building relationships, and these companies will often come back to you later. So, but now let's get more into I'm glad we're talking about the interview process because, I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about that. So you ended up at this company. What's the name of the company you work at?
I work at Brado. It's a marketing agency.
Yeah. Can you repeat the name again? I looked it up.
Oh, it was Brado.
Brado. Okay.
Yep.
Now, obviously you had a lot of other interviews. So did you have any other job offers or what was the process? Did you get more confident as you went along? Were there other companies that brought you to the second round? What was that like?
Yeah. So as I said before, I was doing on average like 3 interviews a week. So what I can say is I was just being more confident as more come along, losing that fear of not getting the job. It's kind of a funny story because I had almost think about giving up. And right after I did this interview, and long and behold, they called me about 4 days later saying, "Hey, we'd like to offer you a position here."
Oh, the job you have now, you had you had some doubts.
Yeah. So, I want to say that if you reach a point where you're not seeing, any results, that's the time when you should be pushing harder.
That's great advice, man. It really, every one of my students, I say I've been doing this for 6 years, and I've even had students who've gone negative, but I turn them around because it's like you create what's going to happen, and it could take months, it could take weeks, but if you don't give up, you will get there. There are so many jobs. It's not like you're trying to find some hidden secret loophole situation. It's not like you're trying to get into Harvard or like find like get into the right crypto or something like that. You're in an abundant marketplace, and it's just about finding the right fit over time. And it sounds to me like, so I just want to dig into this a little more since I know people are always interested in this. Before this one, were you getting first round interviews, second round interviews? Did you get to like any job where you got close, but you didn't get it?
So I was getting second or third round interviews almost every interview that I was doing. And unfortunately I didn't get any job offers before the company that I had now.
That's great, guys. I really want you guys to see that as a huge accomplishment. I mean, you have to understand there are people graduating college who are not getting one interview. And I know that because I've had them as my students, these types of folks. Not one interview with a fancy degree. And you might have a degree, that's fine too. But I'm saying is they don't have the skills, they won't get the interview. So to get the first round interview and then you get to the second round, that's like you should be celebrating every step of the way because it's all leading you. By the time you do, like Eric mentioned, by the time you do more of these interviews, you have to reframe your perspective and don't be impatient. Everyone today is very impatient. You have to look at it like you're on the path to in your case, the perfect job. So in your case, like every job that you interviewed at was just practice for that interview that you ended up landing. And so what was it like when you got the job offer? How was that for you?
It was great. They asked me what was my salary I was looking for. I told them at the time, I believe I said 35 to 45K a year, and they gave me a offer of 47 and a half. So, I was really happy.
That's amazing, guys. And that's right in par. By the way, the salaries are going up. I mean, that's what I tell people about inflation is that a lot of industries, well, some industries are being forced to raise their rates because they can't find workers, but especially true in digital marketing. I've had more students this year get $50,000 or $60,000 a year entry-level jobs than ever before. And I still tell people to keep the first job is the stepping stone to the next job. But I love that you asked for less and you got more. And with bonuses, you said it's over 50, right?
Yep, I would say so, yes.
And so Okay, so I know this is what everyone's asking because again, you had no experience, like no work experience. So what was it like when you got the job? Like they onboarded you, they hired you, you felt great. It's your first week. What was it like? Did they hand you $700,000 and say, "Okay, good luck," or were you mentored? Were you supported? What was it like?
So the first week was actually just pure onboarding. HR stuff, signing, lots of videos, just meeting the whole team, the CEO. Um, Second week comes around, I'm working within a paid manager who's showing me, mentoring me what I'm going to be responsible for. And they have an open door policy to any question that you have at all. I've never been turned away from a question that I have.
That's awesome. So you basically are getting hand holding on how to manage these accounts. And do you, well, now that you manage these accounts, you're doing it completely alone? Or are you part of a team where people are kind of like checking your work, or you have a supervisor that you can come to when you have a question still?
Definitely. I meet with my supervisor. It's a recurring meeting every other week, just so I can bring up any questions or any trainings that I would want to go into. I am a part of a team. Every account has a team on it, from around 5 to 7 people, and we're always QAing each other's work.
That's awesome. And that means quality assurance for those of you who don't know. I want to, I love to, I love to share these stories, guys. What's unique about my course is that I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just trying to be real, is that there are like, there's like getting into one of these companies in this situation, which is what, this is my whole goal for you. And you, again, with so many job openings, you can be selective. Like if there's a company for some reason, they're going to like throw a lot of stuff at you and not train you, or leave you on your own, or you're not doing real account management. My advice is to like look for a job like this, because you've seen student after student say the same thing. They were impressed by my knowledge. I spoke the language, and then they trained me. That's what you want. This job is more valuable to you than any apprenticeship program you could pay for, any degree program you could pay for. And you're not in the hole. I've seen some of these boot camps that cost like 50 times more than my program. They have ISA agreements, income sharing agreements, which means once you get hired, you have to pay them back anywhere from like $8,000 to $25,000. And I just like to point this out because you're actually getting to keep your whole salary and you're getting paid to learn. And there's just, it's such an outrageous value and such an outrageous situation to be in. I mean, everything you're learning at this job plus your resume is going to bring you to your next job where you're going to make 70 80K.
Definitely. And I believe I'm the only paid specialist right now. So everyone I work with is either an SEM manager or the director of paid media. So it's great. I'm working with masterminds of this field and learning from them.
That's it. That's awesome. And I say this to my current students. What I want to like point out is that yes, it's like you do have to be self-motivated in my course. Like you had to have the motivation and the persistence to keep pushing. But the rewards I think are greater, to get into this situation again without having. And I'm just talking business a little bit because I know people are like, obviously there's financial concerns. You don't have an agreement. You don't owe me anything financially. Whereas some of these other programs that are teaching basically the same thing, and some of them do have a little bit more, maybe there's more direct contact. I mean, you already had the coaching calls and the email support for me, and I'm in the Facebook group. But I do caution people about those ISA programs because when you don't have any money or you have very little money, it's very easy. You're essentially taking out a loan for maybe $10,000 or $20,000, and it's up against your job, which
Definitely.
is which is okay. I mean, it's not as bad as a regular college where they're just going to take $50,000 from you and then you're on, they're giving you nothing and you just have debt. But it's just something to think about. I just am so excited for you. That's why I'm saying all this stuff. So, what's it been like since you got this job in your personal life?
My personal life, I have excellent work-life balance. You know, this company, they give us, they just released a new policy where they're giving us unlimited um, sick days of the year. And my work hours can be flexible as long as you're working within the working operation hours of the company. And you are allowed to essentially work from anywhere as long as you have an internet connection.
So if you wanted to travel internationally, they'd be cool with that?
Definitely. I knew one of the employees was working from Italy because he was going to propose to his wife there. So he was able to do all his work while traveling.
That's so great, man. This is the type of company you guys want to work for. I love this. This is a new culture, the unlimited paid time off. What you discover in these companies is that it is a new way of thinking, guys, because, you know, business has been modeled after like the factory system for so many centuries. You know, business factories from the Middle Ages and, well, not Middle Age, but like the industrial age. We're so brutal, you know, 10-hour days, and it's a very like prison-like existence of like just like oppressive. Now companies are starting to evolve. When they give people PTO, people don't take advantage. In fact, one of the things I've found is a lot of my other students in digital agencies who have this situation is that people don't use enough PTO. They don't use enough of their paid time off because they're so driven. So, you know, companies do this because they know people aren't going to abuse it because they trust their employees. But this is another great, you know, thing to look for. If not in your first job, then in your second job. One of the other things you were telling me is that you told me, how was your family about this whole process for you? Were they supportive? Were they not supportive? What was it like?
You know, fortunately, I have a great support system. My family, along with my current fiance, who supported me while I had those rough days. So I had a great support system, fortunately.
That's really great, man. I know a lot of people struggle with not having their family on board. So it's really great that you had that. What did your family think about you not getting a degree?
They were concerned, worried, you know, all the above. You know, I looked them in the eyes and I said, rest assured, you know, I'm going to find my path, and I'm going to make something of myself. And
And
you know, I took
and
your
they did.
course and I felt like I did.
You did. You did.
Yeah.
And were they, when you told them that, it sounds like they were cool about it. They didn't like push you and pressure you.
Oh, you know, there are some days where, you know, they say, "Hey, when are you going back to school?" You know, and you know, one day I just showed them that this is possible. I showed them my offer letter, and they said, "Wow, okay, never
That's
mind."
shut them up, right? But it sounds like you had a generally supportive environment. That's another reason, guys, why it's really important to engage in the Facebook group if you're in the course. Watch these videos. You know, you want to just surround yourself with you want to, if you don't have a supportive family or support system, that's totally normal. I can identify with that. You need to then utilize your online family, which is YouTubers like myself, these interviews, the Facebook group. I'm going to be expanding to a new Discord group pretty soon. That I'm going to is going to be awesome. But in general, one of the pieces of advice I give is that YouTube is a window into all these positive influences. You can, you know, what it could be me, or it could be Gary V. You know, you could just listen to Gary V talk and just saturate your mind with messages from people like me and him, and it will eventually help you. You know, I could do a whole other video on this because like when I first started out like years ago, you know, I was in a toxic work environment. I had to put my headphones on and listen to positive audio cassettes, or not cassettes. How old am I? No, like MP3s. But if you don't have a supportive environment, you need to create one in your own mind. But I think it's really great that you had that environment. So yeah, man, this is really great. Thanks for sharing everything. And you know, is there anything you want to say to anybody watching the interview right now?
You know, I just want to say that I was there in your shoes. I, you know, was another person watching the testimonies, you know, working at it, and now I'm here. So I believe you can do it too.
That's great, man. That's good. That's very, very encouraging for people. Um, and do you have anything you want to say to me before we finish the interview?
I just want to thank you for giving me not handing me my career, but giving me the blueprint and allow me to, throw myself at it, put my own work at it. And I just want to thank you for the results that I've gotten.
You are quite welcome, my friend. Can people reach out to you on LinkedIn if they have any questions?
Yes, definitely. I'm open doors.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, I'll put Eric's LinkedIn link below the video. And I'm going to invite him into the Discord community, which is something I'm launching now. I haven't mentioned that too publicly yet, but I'm launching a Discord where alumni will be coming back or have the ability to come in and interact with students in case you want to get back from time to time or engage, with the students. But yeah, man, thanks for sharing. I know your story is very relatable, and I'm very happy for you. This is just the beginning of your career. In a few years, you're going to be another one of the titans of industry. We're creating an army.
Definitely.
So yeah, it was cool chatting with you, and let's keep in touch.
Thanks, Seth. Yeah, I definitely would love to be a part in any way I can.
Awesome. We'll talk about that soon.
Thanks, Seth.